Most people spend their entire lives working for money, but never realize that money was supposed to work for them. They wake up every morning, clock in, clock out, and call it a life. They trade their time for survival, never questioning the invisible system that keeps them tired, distracted, and dependent. You were born rich, not in your bank account, but in your mind. Rich in imaginación, rich in potencial. But the world reprogrammed you to believe you were poor. Since childhood, you've been told to play it safe, to follow the rules, to stop dreaming so big. And somewhere along the way, you believed them. You accepted limits that were never yours. You learned how to survive but forgot how to live. You see, it's not the lack of money that keeps people broke. It's the lack of vision. The world taught you to chase paychecks instead of purpose, to value security over freedom, to fear risk more than regret. But I need you to ask yourself, when did you stop believing that you were meant for more? When did you decide to settle for just enough? Who convinced you that greatness wasn't for people like you? Because the truth is, the system didn't fail you. It trained you to stay average. It trained you to doubt yourself, to compete instead of create, to follow instead of lead. But here's the secret they never told you. You can rewrite the program. You can unlearn the fear. You can teach your mind to see abundance where it once saw limitation. The same mind that trapped you can also set you free. Every belief you hold right now about money, about success, about yourself, was planted there by someone else. When you were a child, your mind was a blank canvas. You didn't know what was possible or impossible. You didn't know what was rich or poor, easy or hard. You just absorbed everything you saw and heard. You heard your parents argue about bills. You saw the stress in their eyes when rent was due. You watched them work themselves to exhaustion and still come up short. You heard the phrases, "Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. Be thankful you even have a job." And those words didn't just pass through you, they programmed you. They became walls inside your mind, invisible barriers that shaped how you think, how you earn, and how you live. You grew up believing money was evil, believing success was selfish, believing wealth was reserved for them, the chosen, the lucky, the privileged. You were taught that wanting more made you ungrateful, that dreaming bigger made you arrogant. So you did what they told you to do. You played it safe. You worked hard, stayed quiet, followed the rules, and waited for your turn. But that turn never came. You started dreaming smaller, not because you lacked ambition, but because you feared judgment. You feared failure. You feared stepping outside the invisible fence society built around your potential. You stopped asking, "How can I?" and started saying, "I can't." And every time you said it, your mind obeyed. It closed another door, locked another window, sealed another part of your greatness away. But let me tell you something real. Every "I can't" is just an "I won't" in disguise. It's not ability that stops you, it's permission. You're waiting for the world to give you permission to be great, but the world will never give it. You have to take it. You have been hypnotized by society's script, conditioned by repetition, trained to stay predictable, manageable, controllable. You're not lazy. You're programmed. Every thought you repeat becomes a command. Every belief you nurture becomes an identity, and every identity creates a destiny. The thoughts you entertain become your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your habits. Your habits determine your results, and your results tell the world exactly who you believe you are. Look closely at your life right now. Your bank account, your relationships, your health, they are mirrors reflecting what you've accepted as possible for yourself. Not punishment, not fate, just feedback from your programming. But here's the miracle. The moment you recognize the program, you gain the power to rewrite it. You can uninstall the fear. You can delete the scarcity. You can upgrade your beliefs. You are not the code, you are the coder. And the life you want is waiting on the other side of a new belief. Napoleon Hill once said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." He wasn't offering motivation, he was revealing a law of life. A law as real and as precise as gravity itself. Everything that exists in your world right now, every building, every business, every invention, every fortune, first existed in someone's mind. Before it became real, it was imagined. Before it was built, it was believed. Your mind is the master key. It is the blueprint from which your entire life is constructed. Every thought you hold creates a vibration, a frequency that shapes your reality. You don't see with your eyes. You see through your mind. If your mind is full of limits, your world will be limited. If your mind is filled with abundance, your world will overflow with it. Most people misunderstand wealth. They think of money as paper, as something to chase, to earn, to save. But the rich, they think differently. To them, money is energy. It's a reflection of value, impact, and growth. They don't work for money. They work with it. They see it as a servant, not a master. That's the difference between struggle and success. The poor mindset says, I need to earn more. The wealthy mindset says, I need to become more. Because true wealth doesn't start in your wallet, it starts in your thoughts. You don't attract wealth by chasing it. You attract it by aligning yourself with it. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are in harmony with prosperity, it begins to find you effortlessly. It's not magic, it's alignment. Ask yourself this. What does the wealthiest version of me look like? How does that person think, speak, and move? How do they handle problems? How do they make decisions? How do they spend their time? Because here's the truth. You cannot become wealthy with the same mindset that made you poor. You cannot live an abundant life while thinking like a victim. You cannot experience freedom while believing you are powerless. You must become the person capable of holding the success you desire. That begins with thought. That begins with identity. The moment you begin to think like the version of you who already has it, you begin to become that version. You shift from wanting to being, from chasing to embodying. It's not about faking confidence, it's about reprogramming truth. Because the truth is, you were never small. You were trained to think small. Every time you think, I'm not ready, you're reinforcing the lie that you need permission to succeed. Every time you think, it's too late, you're denying the fact that every day is a new beginning. Every time you think, I'm not like them, you're rejecting the power that already lives inside you. You must catch those thoughts and replace them. Turn I can't into how can I? Turn I'm not enough into I'm still becoming. Turn I'll never have it into it's already mine. I'm aligning with it. That's not delusion. That's mental discipline. That's the same law the greatest achievers live by. Before every great breakthrough, there was belief. Before every invention, there was imagination. Before every fortune, there was faith. The Wright brothers didn't wait for permission to fly. They imagined it first. Henry Ford didn't ask if the world was ready for cars. He decided it was. Napoleon Hill didn't ask if the average man could become rich. He proved he could. They all had one thing in common. They mastered their minds before they mastered the world. And that is your next step, to realize that your current reality is just a reflection of your past thinking. You are not your circumstances. You are the architect of them. If you built this life with your fears, your doubts, your conditioning, you can build a new one with your belief, your clarity, your purpose. The construction of your destiny begins in silence, in your thoughts, in the way you speak to yourself when no one is watching. So ask yourself again, who am I becoming? What thoughts am I feeding? What story am I rehearsing? Because every time you choose a thought, you are building a version of you. You are writing your next chapter. And when your thoughts evolve, your life cannot stay the same. Remember this, wealth is not a destination, it's a vibration. Power is not about control, it's about creation. And your mind is the instrument through which both are born. So master it, guard it, feed it the vision of who you want to be, not who the world told you to be. Because the moment your mind changes, everything else will follow. Your subconscious mind is the invisible engine running the entire machinery of your life. It operates beneath awareness, silent, obedient, powerful. It never sleeps. It never argues. It never questions. It simply obeys whatever commands you feed it. Psychologists say that about 95% of your behavior is controlled by your subconscious. That means most of what you do, think, and feel each day is not driven by conscious choice, but by deeply ingrained programs, old habits, memories, and beliefs. Think of your mind like a computer. Your conscious thoughts are what you see on the screen, the open windows, the visible activity. But the subconscious is the operating system running everything underneath. And here's the truth most people never learn. If your operating system is infected with old programs of fear, scarcity, and self-doubt, it doesn't matter how hard you try, the system will keep crashing. Your subconscious does not understand logic. It doesn't respond to reason, it responds to repetition and emotion. Whatever you say to yourself with conviction, it accepts as truth without debate. When you say, I can't, your subconscious answers, yes, master. When you say, I'm broke, it replies, as you wish. But when you say, I'm powerful, it says, understood. When you affirm, I am unstoppable, your subconscious begins searching for ways to make it so. It's not magic, it's programming. And you've been programming your mind your whole life, even when you didn't know it. Every word you've spoken about yourself, every thought you've repeated, every image you've visualized, all of it has been coding your subconscious reality. That's why people who constantly talk about problems always find more. Why those who say, I never get lucky, never do. And why those who believe they are meant for greatness inevitably rise to it even through storms. The subconscious mind is neutral. It doesn't decide right or wrong. It simply reflects the dominant signal you give it. Feed it fear, and it will create situations that justify that fear. Feed it faith, and it will build a world where your faith makes sense. Your words are codes. Your emotions are electricity. Together, they create your internal software, and that software builds your life. So from this moment forward, you must begin to feed your mind the right code. Speak to yourself with authority. I am enough. I am worthy. I am destined for abundance. I am the master of my fate. I am the creator of my world. Say it until your mind believes it, because repetition rewires reality. You may not believe it at first, that's okay. The mind learns through exposure. When you repeat a thought with emotion and consistency, your brain starts building new neural pathways. And over time, those pathways become your new default. This is how all transformation happens. Through repetition, through belief, through consistent inner focus. The old you will resist. It will whisper, this feels fake. It will mock you. You're lying to yourself. But that's just your old programming fighting to survive. It's afraid of being replaced. It's afraid of losing control. Ignore it. Keep going. Keep speaking the new code. Because your subconscious doesn't care about what's real, it cares about what's repeated. It will make real whatever you tell it most often. If you say, I'm tired, it will drain your energy. If you say, I'm learning, it will open your curiosity. If you say, I'm unstoppable, it will look for strength you didn't know you had. Every single thought is a command. Every emotion is a vibration. And every vibration attracts experiences that match it. So when you say, I am enough, the world starts showing you evidence that you are. When you say, I am powerful, you begin to notice the ways you influence reality. When you say, I am destined for abundance, you start acting in ways that magnetize opportunity. That's not luck, that's alignment. Your future self is listening to every word you speak right now. Every sentence you say is writing the script of your destiny. So, stop speaking limitation. Stop affirming lack. Stop repeating the story of who you were. Speak creation instead. Speak the language of power, because the universe listens to the frequency of your faith. You are not trying to get rich. You are remembering that you already are. You are shifting from the identity of the one who begs to the identity of the one who commands. The difference between a beggar and a creator is belief. The beggar asks, can I have this? The creator declares, it is already mine. When you say, I want wealth, you're admitting you don't have it. When you say, I am wealth, you command your subconscious to align with abundance. Words shape worlds, and the world within you shapes the world around you. So here's what I want you to do. Every morning when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you check the world, reprogram yourself. Say, today, I rise in power. Say, I attract opportunities effortlessly. Say, money flows to me in ways that serve my purpose. Say, I am the master of my destiny. Feel the words. Don't just say them, believe them. Let them vibrate in your chest. Let them become your new normal. Then, throughout the day, guard your language. Don't speak defeat, even as a joke. Don't repeat what you don't want. Every careless word is a seed. Make sure you plant wisely. Because the subconscious is always listening. It doesn't turn off when you're tired. It doesn't rest when you're distracted. It absorbs every word, every tone, every emotion. That's why gratitude and faith are not just emotions, they're frequencies of creation. When you live in gratitude, your subconscious assumes you already have everything you need, and it begins to align your external reality to match that inner truth. And faith? Faith is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. When you believe, your subconscious stops looking for reasons to fail and starts building pathways to succeed. You see, wealth is not something you pursue, it's something you remember. Power is not something you gain, it's something you reclaim. Everything you're chasing already exists within you. Your subconscious just needs to be reminded. You are not your old story. You are not the product of your past. You are not broken, you are becoming. And every time you speak a new truth, you're sculpting the new version of you, the version that doesn't chase, but attracts. The version that doesn't hope, but knows. The version that doesn't ask for permission, but creates opportunity. Reprogramming your subconscious isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about realizing that even your imperfections have power, that your past pain was preparation, that your struggles were data, not destiny. And when you finally take command of your inner world, the outer world has no choice but to follow, because you can only experience what you truly believe. So stand tall, speak boldly, think abundantly, and remember the code you speak becomes the life you live. You are the programmer now, and the system obeys your voice. This is where most people quit, right here in the middle of the climb, when the old programming begins to fight back, when the new identity starts to rise, and the old one refuses to die quietly. The moment you decide to change, fear awakens. It rises from the shadows of your subconscious and whispers, "Who do you think you are?" It reminds you of every failure, every doubt, every scar. It replays every time you tried and fell short. Every word they said that made you feel small. Every dream you buried because you didn't think you were enough. That voice of fear is persuasive. It sounds like reason. It sounds like logic. It sounds like protection. But it's not truth, it's the echo of your past. You see, fear has a job to keep you safe. But safe and alive are not the same thing. Safe means predictable. Alive means growth. Every time you step into growth, fear will appear. That's its role, to test your faith, to challenge your vision, to see if you are truly committed to your evolution. Fear says, you'll fail. Faith says, watch me. Fear says, stay comfortable. Purpose says, break through. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's mastery over it. It's looking fear in the face and saying, you don't run this mind anymore. The truth is, your fear will never completely disappear. You just get stronger than it. You stop asking it for permission. You stop waiting for the day you feel ready, because that day doesn't exist. Readiness is born through movement, not waiting. Every successful person you admire has felt fear. The difference? They moved anyway. They walked through it, trembling if they had to. They realized that fear is just energy, and energy can be transformed. The fear you feel before change is not a warning. It's a signal that you're evolving. It's your subconscious saying, we're entering territory we've never known before. And that's exactly where your power lives. Because power doesn't come from comfort. It comes from confrontation, from facing the thoughts that used to paralyze you, from proving to your subconscious that you're the one in charge now. Every time you push through resistance, when you go to the gym, even though you don't feel like it, when you work on your dream after a long day, when you choose discipline over distraction, You are reprogramming your brain for strength. You are teaching your mind a new truth. I am capable, I am consistent, I am in control. Fear feeds on inaction. It grows in silence, in waiting, in hesitation. But the moment you take a step, even a small one, fear loses its grip, because fear cannot live in movement. It survives only in stagnation. That's why most people never see their true potential, not because they aren't talented, but because they surrender to the voice that says, "Stop now, you've gone far enough." But you are not like most people. You've seen what comfort costs. You've tasted what regret feels like. You know the pain of staying the same. And that pain, that quiet ache inside your chest, is your power calling you forward. You can be a prisoner of comfort or a warrior of destiny. But you can't be both. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Choose your pain wisely. Every time you face fear, you train your mind to obey you, not the other way around. Every act of courage becomes a new program in your subconscious, a new belief that says, "I can handle it, I can grow through it, I can win." The more you act, the stronger that belief becomes. The stronger that belief becomes, the quieter fear gets. And one day, you'll realize, the voice that once screamed, "You can't," now whispers, "You did." You will look back at the moments you thought you'd break and realize they were the moments that built you. You'll see that the fear that tried to stop you was the same energy that sculpted your courage. Fear and power are two sides of the same coin. If you never feel fear, you never find power. If you never face challenge, you never find growth. So don't run from the storm, walk through it. Don't avoid resistance, use it. Every obstacle is training you for the level of success you've prayed for. You can't reach greatness with the same comfort that created mediocrity. You can't access power without walking through pressure. This is where transformation happens, in the internal war between who you were and who you're becoming, between your comfort zone and your calling, between your fear and your faith. And every time you choose faith, you win another battle. Every time you act despite fear, you rewrite your programming. You send a message to your subconscious that says, "I lead now, you follow, and flee." So the next time fear appears, and it will welcome it, smile at it, because it means you're moving. It means you're stepping beyond the boundaries of who you used to be. Fear is not your enemy. It's your compass. It points directly toward the places you are meant to grow. Follow it, face it, transform it. And remember, you don't have to be fearless. You just have to be more committed to your purpose than your comfort. Because when purpose becomes stronger than fear, power is born. So keep going, keep moving, keep choosing the voice of courage over the whisper of doubt. Every time you do, you rewire your brain. Every time you push forward, you take command of your destiny. And one day, the same fear that once held you back will become fuel that drives you forward. This is your battle within, and you are winning it one act of courage at a time. There comes a day when you stop running from your old self. You stop fighting your reflection. You stop trying to erase your past, and instead, you look it in the eyes and say, "Thank you," because that pain you carried, it was never your punishment. It was your preparation. Every failure, every disappointment, every sleepless night, it was shaping you, forging the mental armor you'd need for the life you were destined to live. The struggle was never meant to break you. It was meant to wake you. And this is that moment, the moment of rebirth, the moment when you stop waiting for the world to give you permission, the moment you stop chasing validation, stop explaining yourself, stop apologizing for wanting more. This is where the old identity dies, the one built on doubt, fear, and approval. And a new identity emerges, one built on clarity, power, and responsibility. You realize no one is coming to save you. No mentor, no miracle, no magic. It's just you and the choices you make every single day. And that's not a reason to fear. That's freedom. Because once you take responsibility for your life, you take control of your destiny. You stop saying, "I can't." You start asking, "How can I?" You stop hoping for opportunity. You start commanding it. You stop chasing wealth. You start embodying it. Because wealth is not something you pursue, it's something you become. You realize that power was never out there. It was never in the job, the degree, the connections, or the timing. It was inside you, dormant, waiting, watching, until you were brave enough to claim it. The moment you change your inner world, the outer world begins to rearrange itself around you. People start treating you differently, not because they've changed, but because you have. Energy recognizes energy. Confidence recognizes confidence. Power recognizes power. The world responds to what you believe you deserve. And when your mind radiates certainty, life can't help but reflect it. You begin to see through the illusion that you were ever small, that you ever lacked, that you were ever unworthy. All along you were the source. The mind that doubted could also decide. The voice that feared could also command. You are the designer of your destiny, the author of your story, the master of your fate. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. Every thought becomes intentional. Every action becomes deliberate. Every day becomes a step in the direction of purpose. You no longer run from challenges. You run toward them because you know growth hides inside discomfort. You no longer shrink when criticized. You understand that criticism is proof you're visible, proof that you've stepped out of the crowd. You no longer look for approval. You move with inner authority because now you know who you are. You've stepped into alignment. And when you're aligned, nothing outside of you can shake you. You walk with calm confidence, not arrogance, but peace. The kind of peace that comes from mastery. The kind of peace that comes when you realize that you no longer have to chase anything because you are everything you've been chasing. This is what power feels like. It's not loud. It's not desperate. It's quiet, focused, certain. It's the look in your eyes when you know you can handle whatever comes your way. It's the tone in your voice when you speak truth, even if no one claps. It's the energy in your body when you wake up, not to escape life, but to create it. You are no longer controlled by fear. You use fear as fuel. You are no longer defined by your past. You use it as a lesson. You are no longer addicted to waiting. You move with intention. Every second of hesitation that once held you back has now become fuel for focus. You understand now. Reality bends to a focused mind. What you hold with clarity, the universe delivers with precision. The secret is never in luck, it's in alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in one direction, creation becomes inevitable. That's when synchronicities start appearing. Opportunities begin to find you. People show up at the right time. Doors open that once seemed locked. Because you are no longer operating in confusion, you are broadcasting certainty. You've become a magnet for the energy you embody. You've stopped seeking and started being. And here's the beautiful paradox. The more you focus on becoming, the less you have to chase outcomes. The more you elevate your frequency, the faster results align with it. This is the birth of power. Not the hunger for control, but the mastery of self. Not the arrogance of ego, but the authority of alignment. True power doesn't scream, doesn't beg, doesn't prove. It simply is. It moves in silence, and when it speaks, the world listens. You have stepped into that power now. You are no longer reactive, you are creative. You are no longer chasing external validation, you are guided by internal certainty. You understand that abundance isn't earned, it's remembered. You realize that your dreams were never asking you to chase them. They were asking you to rise to their level. Every past version of you, the one who failed, the one who doubted, the one who cried alone, the one who almost gave up, was simply building the foundation for this version of you. You can now look back at your pain and say, that was my teacher. You can look at your scars and say, that's where the light got in. And you can look at the person in the mirror and say, I am not who I was, I am who I've decided to become. You have stopped waiting for the world to change because you now understand the truth. The world changes when you do. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. And now you are the signal. You are the vibration. You are the force that bends reality in your favor. You walk with calm confidence. You think with precision. You act with purpose. You move like someone who knows the universe is on their side. Because it is. It always was. It was just waiting for you to remember who you are. This right here, right now, is the rebirth. The moment you stop hoping and start knowing. The moment you stop reaching and start receiving. The moment you stop existing and start living. Welcome to the birth of your power. Welcome to the new you, the one who commands reality, créate purpose, and walks boldly in alignment with destiny. You've crossed the line between potential and purpose, and from this moment forward, you will never go back. Now, you understand. The external world was never the problem. It was only a reflection, a mirror held up to your mind. Every limitation you saw outside of you was just a shadow of the limitation you accepted within. The truth is simple. Life doesn't respond to your needs. It responds to your nature. It mirrors what you believe, what you speak, what you expect. You cannot think poverty and live in abundance. You cannot think weakness and live in power. You cannot think fear and live in freedom. Because the outer world always bends to the inner one. You've spent years trying to change your circumstances, but your circumstances were never the enemy. They were feedback, evidence of your inner frequency. When you were ruled by doubt, life gave you confusion. When you thought small, life gave you limits. When you believed in lack, life mirrored scarcity. But when you began to think with clarity, the fog lifted. When you began to believe in yourself, doors opened. When you started to live with faith and gratitude, opportunities multiplied. You now see it clearly. Your mind was never just an observer. It was the creator all along. The battlefield was never out there. It was inside, in your thoughts, your habits, your beliefs. Every rich man, every visionary, every leader first conquered that inner war. They mastered the voice in their head before they ever mastered the world in front of them. That is the master key, the realization that everything begins and ends in the mind. The moment you decide, truly decide, that you are the architect of your reality, life stops happening to you and begins happening for you. From this moment forward, guard your mind like a fortress. Do not let fear enter uninvited. Do not let doubt whisper its poison. Do not let the opinions of others override your vision. Your mind is sacred ground, protect it. Feed it with vision. Feed it with faith. Feed it with gratitude. Because what you feed grows, and what you starve dies. Feed your mind power, and power expands. Feed it discipline, and results appear. Feed it gratitude, and miracles multiply. Wake up each day understanding this. You are programming your destiny with every thought you think. So think with intention. Speak with authority. Act with purpose. When you command your mind, you command your destiny. You now hold the same power that built empires, the same force that turned dreams into legacies, the same energy that has shaped history's greatest men and women. But unlike before, you now know you are not waiting for it. You are it. Every goal you've ever written, every dream you've ever imagined, is not outside of reach. It's inside of you. Your only task is to align your thoughts with that truth, to believe it, feel it, act on it until it becomes reality. Because when belief and action become one, the universe must obey. This is not luck, this is law, the law of mind, the law of vibration, the law of faith. And now, you live by it consciously. You are no longer reacting to life. You are designing it. You've seen the power of alignment, the peace in your heart when you move with purpose, the strength in your voice when you speak truth, the momentum that builds when you trust yourself fully. That is the master key. That is what the world's greatest thinkers discovered. The secret was never in money, never in timing, never in luck. It was in mindset. Change your thinking, change your world. The poor man waits for a break. The powerful man creates it. The poor man blames his past. The powerful man builds from it. The poor man prays for opportunity. The powerful man becomes it. And now you are that powerful man. You are that awakened mind. You are that unstoppable force. But remember this truth. The journey doesn't end here. Awareness is only the beginning. Discipline is the bridge that turns awareness into power. Consistency is what makes it permanent. So every day from now on, recommit to mastery. Master your thoughts. Master your emotions. Master your reactions. Because mastery is the highest form of freedom. No one can take away a trained mind. No setback can destroy a focused spirit. No circumstance can defeat someone who knows who they are. And now you do. You are no longer the seeker. You are the source. You are no longer the student of power. You are its expression. You are no longer waiting for your time. This is your time. But before you step forward, remember this. The richest place on earth is not the diamond mines of Africa, not the oil fields of the Middle East, not the banks of Wall Street. The richest place on earth is the graveyard. It is filled with dreams that never lived, books never written, ideas never spoken, songs never sung, businesses never started, potentials never fulfilled. Don't let yours be one of them. Don't let fear bury your greatness. Don't let procrastination silence your vision. Don't let comfort steal your destiny. You've come too far, learned too much, and transformed too deeply to live like you used to. So reprogram your mind, rewrite your destiny, and step boldly into the wealth and power that were waiting for you all along. Because from this moment on, you are no longer the prisoner of your past. You are the master of your mind. And that is the master key.